We've got a ton of rides in development. One that you're working on, Mark, is cars.
Yep. We've been doing a lot of different experiential mock-ups that our creative partners and both engineering and creative can experience. We went out, rented some ATVs, and we tried different terrain. From that trip, we developed certain features, and then we came back here and found the right partner who specializes in building motocross tracks around the world, and he helped us develop this entire track.
Speed is always something that we love to do. It's fun to go fast, but it's also really fun to go over terrain, over hills, bumps, and rocky parts of the path. That was a huge validation that this rally race would work really well in concert with a more traditional speed race that we have in other experiences. The amount of engineering and technical expertise that went into that is far greater than what just an ATV on the road would need to experience because of all the different components having to come together.
In the dirt mock-up, I'm steering you.
Right.
Now the vehicle's gonna steer itself through a track system. Do the two match, or does it feel totally different? So that's the next big milestone for us.
We're building a pretty massive coaster over at Disney's Hollywood Studios with our Monsteropolis and Monsters, Inc. door coaster.
You look at it and you go, I need to be suspended. I need my legs flaring all over the place as I'm just missing doors and thematic elements. It's gonna be really fun.
You're going to see other trains throughout the building, and to see that kind of energy very much mimics the sensation that we saw in the actual Monsters, Inc. door vault.
I think what guests are really going to be floored with is just the beginning of this ride.
So that iconic scene in the film where the claw kind of grabs the door and lifts the door up to shoot it out into the vault, we're recreating that.
Right.
Guests will go up in the air and hit the first boost zone and get shot into the door vault for Monsters, Inc. And that sensation alone, which again, something that we haven't done before, where one system interlocks with the other system to get you up and out, that's a wow moment just from the moment you board the vehicle.
You're standing in the queue line and you're watching all of this dynamic stuff happening around you. Just the anticipation for this ride is going to be insane.
There's different lift mechanics going on in that queue. So at any given time, one will be going up, another will be going down.
Yeah.
It's going to be quite the experience.
We started this attraction thinking about how do we bring Tony Stark as inventor to life. What this is becoming is Stark Flight Lab.
You get to experience flight through Tony Stark's robotic arm as flight test, essentially.
To give guests the feeling of being recruits, seeing if they have what it takes to fly like an inventor. We're combining two ride systems that we've never combined before.
Behind me, this is our chassis that zooms up and down the track using linear synchronous motors. Transport system takes you into the lab. This allows you to align with the robot, decouple from that transport system, and then couple to the robot to experience the flight. That's kind of a two-part experience on this attraction.
Transferring a vehicle from one system to the other is fascinating innovation.
The big thing is safety. We need to have both of these things coupled at the same time so that they're safe to do the handoff before we can lift off the robot.
And hopefully invisible on the creative
Well,
end.
we started there. That's been some of the evolution with this back and forth of how we want it to feel. We've actually said, instead of hiding it like we normally do, celebrate it.
And it is very techy. The technology that's getting you from point A to point B, it's a very visible thing, so it makes sense to include as part of the experience.
We're eventually going to have 12 of these working together. They're going to be this big ensemble. As we started drawing this out, they really looked like a kick line of dancers. And we said, maybe we really treat these as a kick line of dancers. We can bring some of that personality in the same way that we think about bringing choreographers in and working with them on making these look fun to watch as well.
These are robots that have personalities, and each individual one has its own way of maneuvering.
We're learning, how does it feel to fly? How can we give our guests that feeling and lean into what these massive robot arms can do?